Hey guys, how you doing? So today's video I'm going to be talking about setting yourself goals and good ways to achieve them. I started this year by setting myself 3 goals that I knew I could achieve. I believe it's really important if you're setting yourself goals to start off by setting yourself ones that you know you can aim towards and actually, reach them, because then when you do achieve them, there's a good sense of fulfillment, and that way you can challenge yourself, and the next time you set goals you can make them a little bit harder. So my 3 goals were, first of all, I just wanted to learn to drive, which is very important for goal 3. You'll see why. Goal 2 was to get myself back out there as a drummer, get my name around town as someone, who's a good drummer, someone who can do the work. So that was really important to me. And then finally, goal 3 was just to actually do more drumming and get a lot more work around that. So let's start with goal 1. Back in February, I'd never even sat on a driver's side of a car before, but I did a crash course. Well, I shouldn't call it a crash course, that makes it sound like I'm going to learn to crash a car. I did an intensive course in a week, and at the end of the week I had my test and I passed. So I got my driver's license, which is goal 1 achieved. I was very proud of that. I mean, I'm nearly 27, I've waited long enough, but having a car is essential as a drummer. I mean, you can't always rely on someone to take you around with your drums, especially if you're trying to get work. That sort of leads me on to goal 2. That allowed me to get around to more open mic nights, more gigs, just more local music events happening, socialising and networking with other bands, other drummers and bands where they often need depths and people to fill in. So I've been making sure to go to as many sort of gigs and open mic nights as possible, and met some cool people along the way. Also people I've known for years but just never got to sort of see them play or play with them. The way I did that was just by keeping up to date on social media, checking Facebook and different things like that, and the local magazines, things like in Ipswich we have the Grapevine. It lists all the gigs and stuff that are coming up, so keeping an eye on that sort of thing is great for seeing what's on in your area, finding people to network with, and it is good to get in touch and network with other musicians. That's a big thing I want to stress to the beginners and things. I say this all the time, but my videos are aimed at entry-level beginning drummers, musicians in general, but mainly drummers. So a big tip for you is just to network and get to know your local friends and musicians and people you can play with. Finally, part 3 was to do more drumming, and as you've seen, I've been quite busy. I've been drumming a lot lately, so I feel like I've realistically reached all 3 goals. Now, parts 1 and 2 really did help towards part 3, which was the main goal. If I didn't have a car, I wouldn't be able to drive to these gigs that I'm asked to do. If I didn't network and meet the people who have asked me to do these gigs, I wouldn't have been asked to do them. So it really is important to make sure that you are setting yourself these goals you can reach. And then now I've reached mine, it's great. I feel I've got the fulfillment. Now I'm setting myself even bigger goals. So my big goals now are to grow this YouTube channel, because it's mainly this channel that's helped me get the work alongside the networking. I really want to film another set of drum covers, because the first ones went down really good, and thanks so much to everyone who has helped out by liking them, sharing them and giving me feedback. If you haven't seen them, I'll put a link in the description to the playlist that you can watch. Also, I put out a video recently asking you to tell me some suggestions for songs to cover, so there'll be a link somewhere up here for the video where I talk about that. I've only briefly mentioned what my goals were and how I got there with them, but I just want to give you some tips for the goals that you're going to be setting yourself. So my first tip, which I've already mentioned, is to make sure they are actually achievable. Now, I know that seems a little counterproductive. A lot of people tell you to, dream big and have these big aspirations and goals, which is great. I mean, I have that as well. But in terms of these sorts of goals, you want to make sure they're ones you can hit and work towards. Now, it doesn't have to mean they're easy. You need to put work in, but they need to be things that once you have achieved them, you have that sense of fulfillment and you've done it, and you can then progress and set yourself a harder goal. So my 3, I believe, were quite modest: learning to drive, networking more, and getting more gigs. So I've achieved all 3 of those so far this year, and the way that I did that was to constantly set myself little reminders and constantly be thinking about how I'm going to change things for the better to achieve these goals. So the first one was easy. I just had to save up the money and then learn to drive. The second one just meant I had to sacrifice maybe some of my own social life and personal time just to go into more gigs, but you know, I'm a musician. I love music. I love going to gigs. So that one wasn't hard at all. If anything, it's kind of cheeky to even call that a goal because I'd be doing that anyway. But number 3 is the important one. I made sure to get my name out there again in goal 2 and make sure people knew that I was back on the scene. I'm drumming. And the videos, YouTube was my big thing for getting all this depth work and session work. It's easy to meet someone in a pub and say, hey, I'm a drummer, yeah, but if you need someone, give me a call, this is my card, this is my number. But if someone's got a visual aid and something they can see and actually hear you drumming, it helps so much. So, you know, this channel's also kind of been like, I guess like a CV for me. So when people need work done, or if people are asking for drummers, I'll just send them a link to the channel, and it's helped. That's also how I landed the gig at the Rock Project. So you all know about that. One thing I also do, which is great, which you should do as well, is once I've got my goals in mind, on a notepad or something on an app on my phone, I'll write them out, take a screenshot, and then set it as my screensaver. So every time I look at my phone and unlock my phone, which is every 10 minutes, you're looking at your goals and you're constantly reminded, and it gives you that little push to do whatever you can to reach them. And you know, it's a great reminder. There's other things you can do. I mean, you could put post-it notes on your laptop or on your desk at work if they allow it. Anything really. You could write them down on your snare drum, so every time you're playing or rehearsing, they're right there for you. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I hope this video has helped in some way. It really is important, so make sure to set yourself some goals. Also, leave a comment telling me what goals you've set yourself, and if there's any tips I can give to how you can achieve them, I'm more than happy to help on that. Thanks for watching as usual. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. I tend to put out videos weekly of drumming and gigs and vlogs and these sorts of things, and help for new drummers. And also put a like on the video. Put a like? Do a like, just like the video if you've enjoyed it and if you found it helpful. So yeah, next Friday I'll have a video out. 6:30 PM is when I put them out. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and whatever you're doing today, go out and smash it.